In the categories of sentences I never thought I'd say, help, more than a year ago I got addicted to an otome gacha game. Yeah. But as someone who's been making clothes and costumes for over 15 years, I can never play games or watch a series like a normal person. And especially in a game like this, with such high detail and the ability to just rotate the character and zoom in on everything in 3D, it just begs for a detailed clothing analysis. Especially since games aren't always that realistic when it comes to what's actually possible in real life. Quick note before we start, if you do want to play Love and Deepspace, don't worry, I won't be diving into the stories themselves. So in terms of spoilers, I might reference some of the mythical creatures in the love interests' backgrounds, but otherwise this should be pretty spoiler free. What's less spoiler free, however, is my background for those of you who've been following along with my room renovation. Yeah, sorry for the spoilers. I hope you like the green. And with that, time to stare at some hot guys. For science, obviously. So first of all, Love and Deepspace is technically a mobile game, but since my phone screen isn't that big and we need to be able to see all of the details, I've downloaded an emulator. This way we can look at everything in glorious full screen on my PC. And the best way to show you guys everything is to go to the photo studio and start with Xavier, because right here we can rotate all of the outfits and everything that we need. Please ignore my getup. We are just gonna look at Xavier. He's relevant, I'm not. When I'm looking at outfits, whether that be just for interest, cosplay purposes, other costuming purposes, I always look from closest to the body to outwards. So let's do that here as well. See if we can zoom in. Closest to the body, what I'm seeing here is a shirt. It's not entirely a normal shirt. Well, this looks normal. We have a flap here that goes over. Usually there are buttons underneath. That's just a normal closure. But we also see some extra zippers here. Yeah, they're definitely below, because this is a shadow from the layer above it. So we have some zippers for, I guess, extra detail. Yeah, so that's closest to the body. Then when we go downwards, we have pants. We can clearly see these are leather pants with scuff marks. Really nice texturing on here. Again, with the scuff mark details as well. And then for the shoes, these are interesting in a way, because you can see they are tall shoes. And they also look a bit like shoes you can just step in. I do think this looks attached to each other. And am I seeing a zipper? No, that's not a zipper. This just catches the light. It's the same as this side. It's this ridge that we're looking at. It's not a zipper. I'm curious how you can get these shoes off and on again, because all of this looks like sturdy leather. This does not look like elastic to me. I do love it. It's a really awesome texture. And again, you can see scuff marks and everything on here. Is there something on the back maybe? Actually, I think I need a lighting on this side. There we go. There are zippers on the back. So you can zip these down and then get them off again. Usually in games and everything, shoes are so often impossible and not actually wearable. So bonus points on this one. But then onto what I think for this outfit is the most interesting parts. I chose this outfit because this was actually the first outfit where I really started to look at the outfits in this game. I'm not sure if this is main storyline or just a card that I happened to pull somewhere in the beginning, but I was kind of distracted from following the story because I was really curious to all of these buckles and everything here and seeing if they made sense, if they are possible. When we're going from the body outwards, what we're seeing is, I think the easiest to talk about first is this belt. It looks like a belt with some hardware in it so you can strap something else through it. Technically, I'd say this texture, it looks like leather, pretty generic chrome tan leather. But in this case, the texture looks the same as the shirt underneath. This shirt could be leather, I suppose, but cotton or something also would make sense. So I'm not entirely sure what they are going for here texture-wise. We're really looking at the very small details here. And then we have these straps which attach to this armor bit. This looks like either hardened leather or some kind of plasticky-ish thingy. Might be leather. What I do find interesting is that if you have a armor piece like this, you don't want it to close too high, because that means that if it will close as far as this black thing goes, it's rigid, so you can't move your neck. And looking at it, I think this is fabric as well, so that means that the armor is probably down here and the fabric pokes out underneath. So that also means that probably below this white thing there is another layer, which is where this black color comes from. This is probably a very, very warm outfit to wear. The detailing on this is cool. That could just be any kind of custom hardware that's bolted on here. Completely makes sense. Then we have these straps, which I highly doubt that that's this. I do think... Nope, this belt is not this either. So these probably just go below, strap on somewhere to the back. But this is slightly interesting, because these straps quite obviously attach to underneath this armor. And then we go a layer above it again, and we have this, which makes me wonder, how does he put this on, take it... Oh right, we have buckles here. Ha! As far as this goes, it actually works so far as I'm seeing, because he can put on the shirt, put on the armor, put on the coat, and then buckle the armor to the coat. I'm not sure why you would want this. It does look cool though. And I mean, we're here in sci-fi fantasy territory. Looking cool is a completely valid reason to do something. The other really cool part about this outfit is the coat. And again, we have the buckles that attach here. This just sews in here. I'm really curious about this translucent thing. It's kind of plasticky-ish, but it does look really cool. It's a way to close the coat a bit further, but still show all the details underneath. And then this belt goes... Oh, these two attach to the side seam. We can actually see that there is a side seam here. That's also one of the things I always look at when I look at outfits in wherever. Where are all the seams? And very often in games, or I mean anime and such, there are none. So actually seeing seams in this game, huge plus on my side. It makes it so much easier to look at if outfits are possible, how they'd be constructed, and if you were to actually make them, to make them look even more like the actual thing, because this means that the devs have actually thought about how these outfits would go together in real life, I guess. But onto seams, we have more back panels. All of this makes sense to me. These are just regular panels. These can be sewn together and then folded over. I've actually made slits like this before. This also completely makes sense. Again, really awesome detail. This is a combat-ish outfit, so actually seeing battle damage on there is really cool. Oh, and another really nice detail, and one that I really like. And if I were to get inspiration from things, the front is shorter than the back. And that's actually really practical. Because if you have very long coats on the front, they're a big trip hazard. So it's really nice to have something that's shorter on the front than on the back. This detail here, yeah, we just have the belts that are going through. I don't think these are structural, this is just decoration. And all of this is probably finicky to sew right, especially with this curve here, but it's still very much possible. Let's see if anything else very interesting here. Nope, just two decorative buttons, decorative piece here. And these shoulder bits here also make sense, very logical, very doable. I really, because this side has a bit more light, I really like the detailing here. You have a logo kind of thing, and then again, the plasticky, translucent kind of stuff, which, if this wasn't here, this was a very plain white sleeve. Right now, this, even though it's actually pretty simple, adds so much. And that plasticky stuff is also here in the closure. You can actually see it end here. So this is just a small insert which closes with buttons, maybe also here, I'm not entirely sure about that. And then on this side we have another belt thing. I think we have the same kind of buckle as on the other side. It's just that they put another piece of that plastic stuff in there. This is in a way iffy because this is possible, but not when the buckle eyelet thing is this small. So it will take some squishing to get everything through here. I think in real life, this would sit at a very awkward angle. Specifically this bit here, this angle of the plasticky thing going upward, that's game magic. In real life, this would sit at a different angle, slightly more awkward, probably stick out a bit more, but I mean, handwavium, it's all fine. And this is just a very cool dangly bit, and I'm always very much in favor of adding more dangly bits to outfits, because they either add character and show the persona of the person, or they just add visual interest. And again, just something being cool is a very valid reason of adding stuff to outfits. And let's see, then I guess the only part we have left is this armor bit. I am happy because I am seeing closures. I think he's probably wearing a long blank glove or something, probably ending up under the jacket sleeve. And then this is probably a two-piece bit of armor where the top plate is slotting over the lower part. And I think the lower part is a more supple leather and the top part is a hard kind of leather. Again, we have buckles, we have a random decorative buckle here, and we have various armor-ish parts. Why isn't his hand clipping in the jacket? I'm gonna show the other hand. And then we have various armor bits on the hand, and these are all very much possible. They're attached to the glove. I've done stuff like this before for cosplay. In that case, I just glued them on the glove, but I guess riveting them on the glove also makes sense. Yeah, I think that's it very much for Xavier's outfit. It is very cool. Not everything is very practical. I mean, this takes some amount of time to put on. I will say, yes, this is possible. This would very much be possible to make as a cosplay without cosplay tricks. And it's very much wearable in real life. Even some practical stuff, including the zippers on the boots. The details here are very good for a game. I guess my is this possible score is 9 out of 10, and I really want this coat. The second outfit that I want to talk about is this one from Rafayel. Please ignore the headgear, you can put them on separately from the outfit. And you might wonder, why do I want to talk about this one? Because it's very simple. And in a way, yes, it might be a bit more simple than the previous outfit, but at the same time, it's very detailed in a more fashion and tailoring kind of way. So for me, this is a very interesting outfit. Once again, let me just start more on the bottom. We have plain white trousers, not much to say there. They're just neat slacks. I do really like what he has going on with his boots. They're in a way simple-ish, but they do have some bit of detailing. They have a nice buckle, so these are also definitely possible to take off again. I guess these are lower boots, still end up under his pants, but they're probably gonna be low boots. And I'm not sure if you guys can see this. I don't think I can zoom in really that far. But there's some really nice decorative broguing on the front of the shoes. It's the various holes that are punched into the shoe, including some decorative ones around it. Yeah, nice collar. Fits Rafayel, I suppose. And then we have the belt, which in a way is just a regular belt. I really do like the buckle though. Although I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. I guess this is the hole that it closes in. So this is the pin that comes up from down there. I do like this. I think it's supposed to be Lily of the Valley kind of pattern. Which, for people who do not play Love and Deepspace, Rafayel is a painter, artist. So stuff like that really fits his vibe. Which I also find nice in that I chose a simpler outfit for him. Because Rafayel, even his simple outfits are very detailed, expressive, and show his painter persona, I suppose. Yeah, I know, I'm not doing these guys justice in any of their personality descriptions, but words are difficult and I do not have all of the time to talk about all of the lore of love and depression. Anyway, this time we're talking about outfits. So, about this shirt. which is the reason I wanted to talk about this. Mostly also because of this, but I'm gonna go the other way around. Again, if we're gonna look at seams, we of course have a closure in the front, just normal regular buttons. There should be one more button here, I suppose. Oh no, there's no button there. Interesting. I'll get back to that. Then we have, might be a seam here. We have another side seam. We have, bright light. We have a back seam, regular sleeve seams. He has no separate shoulder bit, which can be seen in shirts like this. And I also really like what's going on with his cuffs, because these are both very simple and are not simple. They do look a bit weird though. I keep clipping into him. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. I suppose he has them rolled up once and then back down again. But that means that if he would unroll them, this would be on the inside. I have no idea what's going on here. It's also this almost, Rafayel, keep standing still. It's almost like this merges into the texture there as well. Wow, this one does continue. So it might be that this shirt cannot be rolled down, that the sleeve actually ends here. And this is just a decorative cuff that's a separate layer buttoned onto the end of the sleeve. But I can't really see it clearly. Maybe on this side he also clips into me here. So I can't really look at it any closer, but that might be what's going on here. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to explain it otherwise. Oh yeah, that's interesting. But on the front, let me turn the light back. These pleats are almost the entire reason that I wanted to talk about this outfit, and why outfits like these are also very much an inspiration for me. But this time not for my costumes, but more for my daily wear. Because, I mean, look at it, it's just fashion. We're just gonna talk about this because it's fashion. What's going on here is I think these are not seams, but these are supposed to be pleats. In a way, they remind me of Victorian shirtwaists. It's not that detailed, I guess, but hey. We can't exactly see that these are pleats, but then again, I think we're coming back to the fact that this is a mobile game, and at some point you're gonna run into texture limitations. I think these are 3 pleats that go from the middle closure towards the outside, so they fold over towards the outside. Which means that this pattern piece is very much one pattern piece, but you can cut or draw it a bit wider and then pleat it back, which I find interesting to think about it in that way. Then we also have an interesting bit of closure here. This is very much possible. This is just a decorative bit added to the closure facing. It means we just end it here, and we have a separate one starting somewhere here and then going into the collar. The actual closure here, why I expected there to be a button here is because otherwise this, if he moves his arm back, actually stretches, this would open up a lot further. To which I think most of the player base would not complain, but to wear this in real life would not be very practical. Anyway, it is still possible, I think. Yeah, we can actually see this bit of fabric ending here. So that means that this is a separate piece of fabric. I don't think we're going to be able to see that much detail, but it might very well be that this is stitched on somewhere underneath this collar, which to me would make sense because that way this one can stay up very nicely and this one just makes the collar. I do think, yeah, this is one that is not supposed to be closed in any way. If he would close it, it would end up somewhere here, I think, and would end up a very square neckline. Not very pretty. Then again, the entire way that this looks, it's not meant to be closed, it's meant to be open. Then this piece becomes narrower and ends up in the collar. If we were doing this in real life, I would suggest making another seam here. I don't think it's fully necessary, but usually there would be a seam here as well. Which actually makes me think that the way that it looks, this might not be a seam, but another pleat. Tailoring wise, sometimes you would actually have seams here just to make sure that it can flow even more along the body. But the way that this hangs, I don't think it's that tailored. So this does not need to be a seam, and I think this might be another tiny pleat just because it's so similar to that side. I think that's enough for this outfit, but it does show, hopefully, that even though outfits may seem simple at a first glance, there's more going on than you might think. And again, kudos to the devs. I think this outfit is very much possible, maybe except for the belt. I'm not sure how that works, but it could still be possible. This shirt probably cannot roll down its entire sleeves, but other than that, I mean, again, that's just a fashion choice. We're going for looks over practicality. So yeah, in terms of possibility, I think this one actually gets a 10 out of 10. Very much possible, very much fashion. And then the third outfit that I want to talk about is this one from Sylus. And this is the outfit that actually inspired me to actually make this video. I mean, I've been thinking about it since I saw that first Xavier outfit, but this outfit I actually looked at and I was wondering, is this actually possible? But also, holy crap, this is a cool outfit, I want it. Let me actually take down his hair a bit, because that's very long. Yeah, we actually want to be able to see everything. So, there we go. And once again, if we start close to the body and go outwards, we start with pants. These look to be fabric pants. These are not leather. They don't have the heavy weight of leather, which makes it fold a specific way. See the Xavier pants. Plus, I think the texture that the devs put on here hints at a fabric. And then we have the shoes. These appear to be shoes that have a rigid outer shell, a few bands. I'm not necessarily seeing closures. Oh, there we go. I think some of this closes over each other, and I think we might see a hint of a closure here, which sometimes hides behind the UI. These straps might actually be able to loosen up, and then this part can come out and you can just step out of it. So these shoes seem to be possible to be put on and taken off again. Once again, kudos to these devs. Yeah, oh, I'm actually seeing buckles here, even better. Then we have a jackety kind of thing under it, and this is immediately the part which, for the first time when seeing a lad's outfit, made me wonder, is this possible? Because I am seeing very much tiny bits and bobs which are very much possible to make and put on an outfit. But we're seeing a seam-ish thing here. And I think this is supposed to be the opening. But with all of these bits over it, I'm not sure how we would be able to open it, because these things are also looking quite fragile. So I'm not exactly sure how you would repeatedly attach and reattach these to this jacket. If you have an idea how this could be a closure, I'm very happy to hear it. But with my own reasoning, I can't really find a way, and I think that this is not going to be possible in real life. While remaining practical, I mean, for the heck of it, he could have a zipper on his back, but let's just assume for now everything is as we see it, even though we're not seeing a lot of this jacket. Anyway, let me continue on to the rest of the jacket or coat, because this is a very, very cool coat. I want it. Yes, I'm saying that for a lot of outfits in this game, but it's a very good game in terms of outfit design. So, this coat is inspired by a trench coat. It has the very big collar. It has the breasts, extra layer parts. It's long. We see a belt that, does it have a closure? Where did my lighting run off to? Do we see a closure on the belt? I'm not really seeing one, but there could be one under those things. Yeah, let's just assume it's under one of those things. Again, more dangly bits. Big fan of dangly bits. And then one of the things that I love about this coat is all of the different textures it has. Plus all of the layers. There's just a lot of dangly bits. And this time it's entire fabric panels. This time it's entire leather panels. This time it's a hexagon panel. I want to talk specifically about this hexagon panel because I don't know why, but give a costume, an outfit, give it hexagons and it feels sci-fi. If you want to give anything a sci-fi look, give it hexagon panels. I don't know why it works as well as it does, but it works. Hexagons are bestagons, let's just say it like that, I suppose. Let's see, what else interesting can we find? Oh yeah, the inside lining of this coat. The entire theme of the banner that this outfit was from was space and space battles and space politics, and Sylus's theme is red and black. Do I even need words to describe how awesome the inside of this coat is? It's a lining, it has stars, it's not shiny, but it almost appears to be shiny. This is still possible in real life. We need a custom printed fabric, but it's very cool. We have something that appears like armor bits here. There are random-ish shapes. Don't really know what to say about it. Just slap on some plastic and leather, hang it to a belt, and you got some more dangly bits, and this time armor. We have long gloves, which in a way to me resemble motorcycling gloves, though maybe that's biased because it's canon. Sylus rides motorcycles a lot, but both in terms of armor, gloves and motorcycle gloves, these make sense. They just have some extra armor bits slapped on, which once again makes sense. You can just glue this to gloves and it's possible. Then one of the other reasons why I really wanted to talk about this coat in particular. Ta-da! It might be a bit more simple than you might think when I announced it like this, but I just really, really love spinal details. Let's see, this is a coat that also has a lot of seams. Sorry, I'm going all over the place with this. We have a long slit in the back that is closed by one of those details. And what I really like about this, because this entire coat is a very big reference to the fact that Sylus is a dragon, and we're seeing it in this coat in both subtle and not so subtle ways. Design-wise, I'm always a very big fan of these kind of things, but be warned, if you put spinal details on a costume or outfit and they're more hard, rigid structures, sitting down will immediately be a whole lot less comfortable. Because if you're going to be sitting, I know my camera is not, let's see. If you're going to be sitting against a chair and you have a hard plastic thing stuck to your spine, it immediately becomes very uncomfortable to lean onto. And if you're wearing costumes or outfits for special events, you're going to be walking and standing a lot during the day and you want to be able to sit down and relax. And then there is some annoying plastic thing stuck to your back, which makes sitting down very uncomfortable. So if you want to, do it. It's very cool. But keep in mind, sitting down will be less comfortable. Don't ask me how I know. And I need to sit down at some point during events. Anyway, back to outfit analysis. We have multiple panels here. The bottom panel is closed by these really awesome details. I think this plastic bit is either stuck to the belt or these two hold the belt on the right height. Really cool idea. And then we have more closures. These two just close. That I think actually that this is another extra layer on top of the coat. And this just attaches the extra layer to the normal bit of coat, because we have a lot of side seams in this. Also, slight mention for this seam. This is a weird one, and if you're actually going to be sewing any of this, this will be very annoying to sew, but it is possible and it looks cool when done properly. We have a mimic from the front, and yeah. There is so much going on in this coat, so at some point I'm almost like, what do I need to say about this? Just look at it, it's cool. Anyway, we have on this side something else very interesting going on, which is this bit of almost shoulder armor thingy. Once again, a very cool reference to him being a dragon, because it's almost dragon skill-like, but with a weird kind of shape. I think it's possible. This actually looks like it's on top of this bit of armor and that bit of armor. What's going on the... yeah, it's entirely different on the other side. So this is a separate shoulder piece that does attach under the epaulette. I forgot the English word, sorry. And very nice that they added a separate band around the upper arm. Because if you have shoulder armor and you don't have a band here, it will flap, it will move, it wants to go everywhere. So you really want to have that extra attachment bit here to make sure that it's stuck to your arm. But I'm not sure how it's gonna attach to the top. But once again, there is so much going on here that I think there will be plenty of attachment points anyway. And very cool, this tiny bit of detail, which is a very nice small lore reference. So yeah, again, there is a lot going on in this code. And most of it is very much possible. It will be a hell of a lot of work to make. And this will be one heavy coat to wear. Because all of this seems to be leather, so this coat will easily be multiple kilograms. It's gonna be a heavy. Leather on leather panels also won't be light. It probably doesn't matter for these guys in this game. They're the ideal love interests anyway, so they're strong. What will I give this outfit? Because it is not possible, as far as I'm aware, because of that closure here at the top. But the rest is, and it's very cool, and it's very cool that, with how cool it is, that the rest is possible. So I think my Is This Possible score for this outfit will be a 7 out of 10. Fix that top closure, and you're gonna suffer while wearing it. It's heavy and you can't sit down properly. Oh boy. There's one thing more that I'd like to show you. Why I was rejoicing this much about being able to show these guys in 3D. Because I've actually been working on a different cosplay from this game. But it's not one of the love interests, so they do not have these kind of 3D models in game. The cutscenes that they're in are very dark. So this is what I'm usually dealing with in trying to see and figure out how an outfit works. So yeah, this is why I'm so very happy I can just do this. I hope you guys enjoyed my rambling and raving about these outfits in Love and Deepspace. If you want to see more of these kinds of outfits analysis of any kind of game, series, whatever, please let me know, because I actually really enjoyed filming this. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and play with some hot guys, and see you guys next time.